Hey guys, welcome back to the Leadership Detectives. You know, they say people join companies, but they leave managers. So by definition, I guess people may stay at their current company because of the leader they're working with. Or in the case of today's guest, people may leave their current job to go and join the leader that they enjoyed and loved working with before. So we're really excited to be joined today by James Hunnybourne, whom Neil and I have known for many, many years. A leader who is really proud to say, people first and focus on your people. But let me not steal any more of his thunder. Please listen on to hear how he went from professional to manager to senior leader, and all the priorities that he holds high to deliver success and to have a happy team. Enjoy. Hey everyone, welcome back to Leadership Detectives. I think you can see out the window, right? So it's late evening today. We're recording slightly differently today, but welcome back. Just up front, just say thank you for all your comments and feedback that we've been getting. So that's good. We're into 2021. Neil, good to see you. How are you? You good?
I'm great, thank you. Yeah, feeling good. Look, I've missed talking to you, so I'm looking forward to getting stuck into another episode. And also delighted to be joined by a guest and an old friend of ours that we've known for a long time, James Hunnybourne, who currently is Head of Services Business Development at Softcat. Welcome, James. How you doing?
Hi, Neil. I am good, thank you. I am good. Yeah, still awake, even though it's dark outside.
Well, I know you're an early bird like me, so you're winding towards the end of your day, whereas Albert only drags himself out of bed about 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, it was sad. I was on conference calls at 7 this morning. Really? I didn't know there was still a 7 in the morning. I thought it was only 1 in the evening. But there you go.
Must have been a shock to the system.
Good to see you, James. Welcome to the call.
It's good to see you again, Albert. It's great to see you both.
It's been a while. It's been a while since we've talked. So really good to spend the time with you. Neil suggested you as a guest and we deliberated hard and decided we would go ahead.
I was going to say I was really flattered when you asked me, but not so much now, right?
No, really good.
Now you're number 31. I'm assuming I was the 31st choice that you got around to. Right?
No, we just wanted to practice a bit before we got to the,
until you got to the important ones.
We weren't ready for you yet.
Right. So let's start off with a nice, straightforward question to get going. So if you were being introduced onto a stage to present to a big audience of people, how would you like to be introduced?
Okay. So I want to say that I've been working in technology for the last 25 years. I am a developer of businesses, but primarily people. I'm rounded with my skills, having done everything from selling through to delivery, through to management, and I love what I do.
Okay, and what specifically? What do you love? What's the thing that you love most about what you do?
Do you know, in the job I'm in right now, I'm really fortunate, right? I have a passion for creating things. I always have done that. I don't know. It probably goes back to when I was like a kid with Lego, or last week with a bit of Lego. Depends on how you look at it. So, but no, right now I've got the opportunity to be able to take ideas for businesses and turn these into real things, right? So when Softcat wants to develop a cloud business, when they want to develop a cyber business, they would come to my teams, and basically we would do the research, development, and then creation of the services. And these things, like, not only do they bring value to our customers and that, but they also give me the opportunity to hire new people, develop new people, give people that are already in Softcat other opportunities and other things to go and look at. So for me, that's one of my passions, right? I love helping people and I love developing people, and that's why I'm in the job I'm in right now.
Perfect.
That's interesting, actually, right? Because I think back to James. You and I haven't kept in contact. Actually, when did you leave Big Blue?
Oh God, 9 years ago.
9 years ago, right? So I left 5 years ago. Neil, I think you left 5 years ago, but Neil's kept in touch with you more than I have. So my memories of James Hunnybourne was a senior professional, a very competent one, a very good salesperson. But Neil was telling me about how you've developed just your leadership career. And we went, wow, let's hear that. So for my own part, I'd like to understand the journey from where you were, that successful senior professional. I didn't even know you had aspirations of leadership, but I hear you're a really good leader. How did that work? What happened there?
Okay, so it come down to like a life-changing mentoring session, right? And which is why I'm always really passionate about wanting to mentor people, right? I spent my entire life in IBM going around doing a number of different roles, because ideally my utopia was want to be a business unit leader, and to be the leader of that unit, I wanted to understand what it's like to do delivery, what it's like to do some commercial, what it's like to do sales. And I figured if I lived the roles, it would make me the next, the natural choice, the most rounded person. But what I learned quite late in my career in IBM was to understand a little bit more about what I really wanted to get out and why I wanted to go in the direction that I did. And some realization of what IBM was giving me, and what other potentials there were elsewhere in the world, right? So, and what it did was literally from this first session, I got a really good understanding of what it is I really, really wanted to do. And I was stupidly going round in circles rather than having a plan and moving forward, right? Mm-hmm. So I thought about this a lot, and I thought about what my plan could be, where it is I actually wanted to go. And I tell you, the minute I made that decision, I had left IBM probably a month and a half after that decision. Okay. I became a manager, a senior manager, and then a director within 12 months. Okay. Because I had, and it wasn't a race. I was very fortunate for it to work out that way. What IBM did give me, and all of that moving around and doing lots of different roles, actually did give me a really solid grounding for the area that I was going into. Mm-hmm. And just allowed me to pull all those things together. But I moved out of Big Blue and into the Channel, and the Channel was a very different beast, and it moved at a very different speed. Yeah. And it gave elements of knowledge with a bit of entrepreneurial thinking that allowed you to be able to accelerate. And that's exactly what happened. So, and I loved leadership. I really did. And I think some of it comes back from there's always that little bit of you in the background saying, I could do that better. You don't know if you could, right? But it's very easy when you're not a leader to criticize.
Especially when you work for us,
being made by leaders, right? Really go, I could do that. Yeah, and all right, let's brush over the fact I've worked for both of you in the past. Obviously, I'm not talking about you two, right? So, but it was the want to. I could see a clear way. I could see how things could work. I could see how I could do things a little bit better, or I thought I could do things a little bit better. And that's what drove me to want to take more responsibility and go more for a leadership role. It was literally the autonomy. That and maybe, a tiny, tiny sliver of a problem with authority, right? So I went the more autonomy I had. I do thrive in autonomy. I do love making my own decisions. I do like steering my own ship and all that kind of stuff. And it's easier to do that the higher up you get, right?
So just, you said something really important at the beginning of talking about this decision process. You said you made a plan.
Yes.
And we've heard that before, actually, that from, I think it was Carmina actually said the same thing. She made a plan. So how, kind of just share with people here, because it's all about uncovering clues of leadership. Share, what was that, a detailed plan? Was it a high level plan? Was it a 5-year plan? What did that kind of look like?
So there was... What I had was I'd made a short, a medium, and a long-term plan, right? My long-term plan was hazier, right? But it was literally, the longer-term plan was built on my utopia of what it is that I wanted to be, right? I tried to go back and think what it was like when I was 10 years old. What did I want to be when I was 10 years old? But a starship captain was not really a commonplace nowadays, right? And being the first person to travel to another galaxy and meet other non-human life probably wasn't going to happen in my lifetime, right? Plus, I think I probably missed the boat a little bit on that, staying in technology for such a long time. Yeah. But seriously, no, I had to understand what it is that I really enjoyed doing and what I didn't like doing. And that's a little bit further along the lines of not just what I like doing, but what I'm good at doing and what I'm bad at doing, right? So once I started to work this out, and I'll happily tell everybody it was you that helped me work this out, right? Once I started to work this out, I had a much better idea of the type of roles that would make me happier and I would excel in because they would play to my strengths.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's when, and I looked at a number of different routes. It's like, do I actually want to just stay in sales and just earn the money and not be responsible for things? Or do I want to take on more responsibility? And if I do, why do I want to do that? What was the reasoning behind it? Mm-hmm. So it took me a while. I mean, this wasn't a quick thing. Like I say, it just took me like a month and a half of thinking, and I continue to refine it as time goes on. And as I change, as I get a little bit older, so do my priorities a little bit, right? Mm. But what I love doing, what I don't like doing is still quite clear for me. And being in a position where I could surround myself with a good team that can help mitigate against the things that I'm not very good at and allow me to help them with my strengths really appealed to me. And like I said, I had an early opportunity to be able to do that once I looked out into the market.
From what I remember, James, you were big into martial arts, right? And I think you're what are you now, 3rd degree black belt?
Yeah.
But that says to me, you've got focus, but you probably also like getting the medals, right? So how much of that, what you've just described there, how much of that was about you wanting to be a leader because of what it gave you, and how much of it was about because of the impact you wanted to have?
Do you know, I thought initially it was about me, right? And the recognition that I could get and I could be successful, and that, successful as a team, but it was about me. As I actually did the role, mm-hmm. It become, for me, and I do nowadays, I spend way more time championing my people and getting them the recognition that they deserve than I do myself.
Yeah, how satisfying is that, right?
It is satisfying. I mean, they make me look good, right? There's no denying, but I've built a good team that they know where my strengths are and I know where their strengths are. Yeah. Right. And I am very, very happy to be the first person to say it was all this person's work. This person's brilliant. They're absolutely amazing. And I'm not we did it a team, i.e. under my leadership, and that it was under my leadership, but that's kind of a given. People can see that. The bit that I got more passionate about was literally the people rather than the recognition.
Okay. And what's interesting about that was I was going to ask you a question around this, actually, was around loyalty. So, I know from talking to you since you've been in leadership roles and know the people who've worked for you as well, you attract loyalty. People want to work for you and work with you. And is that down to the fact that you focus on the people? Do you think what do you think that's down to? Why does that happen?
I'd say it's a combination of things. It's, I think if you're a good boss and you're open and you're honest and you look after your people and that, then people will move with good bosses, right? People leave jobs. We all know people leave jobs because they got bad bosses, and we've all had like bad bosses that just made your life hell. If you have good bosses that value what you say and you have the ability to be able to change their mind and input into the direction and the success of where you're going, then that breeds an element of loyalty. That, and I must spend a quarter to a third of my time with my direct reports, helping develop them from a business and from a personal perspective.
Does that have an impact on the way that you can contribute to the business then? So are you less effective at your job because you're spending so much time managing?
Completely the opposite. We're way stronger as a team, right? It's all about getting the team to go through the same process that I did. So I understand where they're strong, what they're passionate about. If you stick the right people in the right roles, and you can do that in a team or with a team of leaders, you can have a really, really powerful unit. Right. And it's proven it. I mean, the success that we've had in Softcat over the past 4.5 years has been phenomenal.
So and which is really interesting.